handle the naira, which is the essence of what EFCC is trying to
do. Paul, so how do you, what happens to you? What are you thinking now?
Well, I'm thinking that people should keep to the law, because whether we like it or not, of course, there are people who are saying, look, it's our culture. Why is EFCC chasing after those who are spraying the naira? But there's a law. Section 21, subsection 1 of the CBN Act says you should not do it. So if you do it. So the fact is,
otherwise, the Oyinbo people don't spray.
Well, this is like, well, Nigerians, I've seen videos of Nigerians spraying abroad. You understand? I mean, I'm not aware there is any law against the dollars being sprayed that way. And I think it's all Nigerians that do even all of that, or pounds abroad. But it is against our law that...
but more than anything else, Paul, the need to hold our national currency in high esteem cannot be overemphasized.
Yeah, definitely, yes. So you cannot say that you are, because you are big or you have money to throw around, respect the naira. And also, you know, there are also people that, we used to call them ashewu those days. I think there was this day where you buy naira. That's also a crime. You know, that's an offense under the law. So I think our people should just be very, very responsible. Well, Cubana Chief Priest is a celebrity barman, but he's not above the law. So whatever agreement he has with the EFCC, a statement has been made that you cannot just abuse the naira anyhow. So even if it is the other method they've devised, putting money inside the box and then giving it to whoever they want, probably that is more respectful to the currency. So as of now, there's a law in Nigeria against public spraying of the naira. You may not like it. If you don't like the law, find a way of getting it repealed. But until now, as of now, the law subsists and it must be obeyed.
Otherwise, the EFCC and Cubana Chief Priest are mellowing.
Yeah. Then there's still this argument also that maybe the EFCC doesn't have the power to do that. Well, until a court also says that the EFCC has the power to prosecute people for naira abuse, that is not under the purview, or it's not, the law does not permit or mandate the EFCC to do that. The EFCC is going outside the law to do that. There's also this argument.
Okay.
But until a court says the EFCC has no power to do that, for now, we just have to continue.
Yeah, because I was going to ask that you be wary of such a group.
Yes, Citizen.
Yeah.
The case is not over.
Okay.
Yes, the case is not over. There's nothing in the world that make you believe that they will reach an agreement. If for any reason, the EFCC and Cubana Priest, in the course of this negotiation, were not able to reach an agreement, the case will
yes, they will go back, yeah.
Okay.
They will still go, yeah, of course. They will still go back to court. So EFCC might decide if they reach they sat down, or the council of both parties couldn't reach an agreement. Then EFCC had the right to go back to the court and say, my lord, we are not able to reach an agreement.
At least we must know one thing. Yeah. Obi Cubana Priest is on bail.
Yes, he is. He's on bail. He's on bail. That's what I'm saying. So if, for whatever reason, the EFCC and Obi Cubana were not able to reach an agreement, then definitely the court will be the last.
Our man in Abuja is standing by, so let's reach out to him. BKO, Babajide Kolade Otitoju. BKO, greetings. How are you?
I'm fine.
Enjoying Abuja?
I'm actually in Kano, not Abuja.
Okay.
See how fresh you look.
Yeah, so ignore CK and Abeg. Ignore him. So how do you weigh in on this story?
I know that the Attorney General of the Federation has the power to discontinue any criminal matter. He has tremendous powers. He is the most senior minister in the cabinet, and he's the only one that his job cannot be delegated to anybody. He is the only one that the president cannot assume his rule. So in this matter, I'm sure that the EFCC have approached the Attorney General on the efforts being made by the Cubana camp to settle the matter out of court. And it may mean that Cubana chief priest has agreed to some conditions that the EFCC will stipulate. Maybe he will be a grand ambassador that will help the EFCC to propagate his message of maintaining the sanctity of our currency. He was notorious for throwing our currency around, for stomping on it, for stepping on it, showing utter disrespect to our currency. If you see him in some videos, he was flinging our currency all over the place. Nobody disrespects the dollar like that. And it was a good thing that I was invited, detained, and then put on trial. Now, the last party that he attended, he stood in front of the musician and he was transferring money to the musician. He told the musician that, look, I'm transferring money to you. That's a brand new Cubana chief priest. So whatever happens, he doesn't have to go to jail. After all, the punishment is a very lenient one. It's not a case of the EFCC not having sufficient facts. Of course, they have sufficient facts. I've seen not less than 10 videos. I've seen not less than 10 videos of Cubana chief priests.
And pictures don't lie. Pictures don't lie. Yeah.
They don't lie. Videos don't lie. You know, just like the EFCC did in the case of the actress that was convicted, they didn't stop at the actress. Even the venue where the event held, they spoke to the organizers and they got sufficient facts. Even on the phone of the accused person, they got the facts that they needed, they got the videos that they needed. So it's not, I don't think it's a case of they don't have sufficient facts. People deceiving themselves that, oh, Cubana could argue that it was not original naira notes that he was playing. It's ridiculous how our people try to explain away things. Cubana knows that, look, he's been caught in the act. And in order not to waste the time of the court, it's a good thing that they've come together to see how they can resolve it. I'm sure that at the end of the day, it's a win-win situation for the EFCC. If Cubana, with his popularity and what's it called, with the way he's popular on social media, he can actually be used by the EFCC against the desecration of our currency. And we are making good progress. I've seen parties. I attended a party in Ibadan last weekend. I didn't see anybody attempt to spray. I didn't see anybody attempt to do that. They were just putting it in a box. I was also at East Porter, where somebody walked up to me and said, Babajide, please, there's a friend of mine doing a party here. Am I allowed to simply put the money on his head? I said, if you try it, and somebody has your video, you will go to jail. He said, thank you, sir. He walked away. I was looking around, trying to see whether he would summon the courage to spray the naira notes. He didn't summon the courage. So that thing is already going around, and I'm sure that culture will change. Yes, it's our culture, but people stepping on our currency is not a good thing. And if a culture is ridiculous, a culture is bad, then we have to discard it. After all, in the past, we had a culture of killing twins in this country. And we had to stop it. Nothing says a bad culture should not be discarded. Treat the money with respect. Treat even the people that you are giving the money with respect. Why are you stoning people with money? Because you have so much. In a season of extreme hunger, it is distasteful to be throwing money around the way Cubana chief priests and others do it. And I think the message has been passed to them, and I'm happy that we are making progress.
Okay, we thank you very kindly, Jide, for the intervention. We'll be coming in and out of Kano just to get your input. So back to here, gentlemen, we'll go to our next story. You know, while Nigerians are reeling under the jinxed politics of petroleum product supply regime, the House of Representatives has ordered security agents to clamp down on marketers hoarding petrol. The House of Reps Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream Midstream gave the not too palatable order on Wednesday. Now, the late German scientist Albert Einstein had said, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking that created them." But first, let's share the story by Joke Adisa with you. So let's go there now.
Queues across gas stations in parts. The return of queues across gas stations in parts of the country caught many citizens unawares. Motorists now spend as long as 3 hours or more to get fuel in their vehicles, while those that cannot withstand the stress of winding queues resort to buying from street hawkers, popularly known as black marketers, who now sell between 1,000 naira and 1,500 naira per litre of petrol. This has led to a hike in commercial transport and many commuters stranded at bus stops. Members of the Joint Committee say they have engaged with relevant authorities on the cause of the lingering scarcity. The leadership confirms the availability of 1.5 billion litres of petrol that will last the country for another 30 days. It calls for calm as the legislators identify transport challenge as the leading factor for the scarcity.
These logistics issues range from difficulty experienced in transporting product from the mother vessels to onshore, movement of product with marine shuttle vessels, and disruption in the escrover's channels, which have all been cleared.
We have engaged sufficiently with the appropriate authorities in terms of fuel distribution. And as of today, the report we are getting suggests that the fuel queues have started reducing and product have started arriving at the petrol stations. We urge Nigerians not to engage in panic buying, not to be immersed in an unnecessary rush to buy products.
They also want the government to wield the big stick against hoarders and saboteurs.
We strongly frown at the activities of middlemen who have taken advantage of the short disruption of supply to maximize profits and generate inordinate gain for themselves at the detriment of our people. We call on security agencies to support the NNPC, NNDPRA, Petron, NATO, and other key stakeholders in the distribution value chain so as to ensure that such act of economic sabotage that has to do with hoarding, arbitrary increment in price, product diversion, and smuggling are detected and dealt with.
The Joint Committee assures Nigerians it will continue to keep tabs on the relevant agencies to guarantee the availability of petrol at the various gas stations in the country. Joke Adisa, TVC News, Abuja.
Many thanks, Joke. Paul, sometimes you cannot but wonder why Nigeria, the second largest producer of crude and gas in Africa after Gabon, can't be reeling like this.
Honestly, we are the proverbial that the son of the child of a meat monger that eats bones.
Yeah.
It's very bad. And this is a recurring story with us. It's not new. Fuel scarcity. Sometimes people create artificial scarcity. They hoard fuel and all of that. And the same thing, Ikenga said that, look, they've talked to stakeholders. They have so number, quantity of fuel that can last for 30 days. We keep hearing all of this. The problem is that Nigerians are the ones harming Nigeria. Many times, a lot of people sit down and they blame those in power for this and that. The truth of the matter is those in power are also Nigerians. There are many Nigerians, if you give them the opportunity to taste power, they'll be very cruel. They'll even be worse than some of the people that are holding the reins of power now. Now, why would you hoard fuel? Now, I'm very, very much interested. Among the stakeholders that were spoken to are the members of the association of the retail outlets. No. Those that own the petrol stations. Now, what are they doing to talk to their members? You know, in the past, we've seen in the days of DPR, you see DPR move into petrol stations and then start selling and all of that. Is it not, for me, if you want to stop these people, apart from the fact that you have all these challenges in logistics that they're talking about, if you really want to effectively stop this from happening, what is happening now, the Association of Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners should also do something, talk to their members, and stop making life difficult for Nigerians. Stop making life difficult for Nigerians. We have, if it is true that we have abundance of fuel that can last us for 30,
they say
1.5, I think 1.5 billion liters, if I'm not wrong.
Can last another 30 days.
Yes, so there is no reason people should
be reeling,
because you are speculating that something will happen to the fuel price or something, and then because people speculate and then you start ordering the fuel. You see long queues of vehicles, see people with jerry cans, and then for those that use jerry cans even suffer more, because in some places they will collect a whole keg after you've bought your. If you're not driving, if you go with your keg and then maybe you already bought 1,000 naira per liter, you now pay extra 200 naira for a whole keg. You know, what's all of this? You know, it's the whole big mess that you need to.
And you are talking about not just 10 kegs.
Many
tens of kegs.
And even sometimes 1 liter is not even 1 liter. You know how they do it. So it's terrible.
CKN, as it is now, Ipman on the one hand, buck passing with the NNPCL. You know, the NNPC is saying, NNPCL is saying logistics problem. But Ipman, right?
Yes, Ipman.
He's saying government is owing it how many billions? You know, until they until they pay. They won't pack it all in yet.
Citizens, first and foremost, let's establish this. I don't believe NNPC. I personally, I don't believe NNPC.
Do you believe anybody here?
NNPC, I don't believe NNPC. I don't trust NNPC. We've had this story time and time again, and that's what NNPC tells you. Isn't that there's a place where they archive their press statements, and once we start having issues, they just bring it out and just change the date and throw it out. NNPC will always tell you that we have 1 trillion barrels of or whatever liters of petroleum assets here. But if at NNPC stations you go, you can't see the fuel. Now, Ipman, when this thing started, Ipman came out with a statement. They were on TVC, the secretary or who, and said that for over 2 weeks that they paid for this product they couldn't get. No supply from NNPC. Now, NNPC, the problem we have is that NNPC is the sole body that brings the petroleum product into Nigeria.
Can we interrogate that?
Yes.
Is that proper?
That's what I'm going to.
Okay.
That is they are the only ones that bring in petroleum products into the independent marketers don't. So what they do is that they rely on NNPC to bring in the products they buy from NNPC. And you ask yourself, why all this? The third one is that until we treat the fundamental problems, number one, which is making sure that our refineries are working. Until we make sure that these refineries are working, we will continue. We'll solve this one now. In the next 2-3 months, we'll go back to school. The problem is that until our refineries start working and we start producing, we are the only country, probably only country in the world that have crude oil in large quantity, export crude oil, and import petroleum products. We're a big player in OPEC. And most of the time, people say, oh, government has no business in business. And I say, no, it's not every time. Aramco is the biggest oil company in the world. It is owned by the Saudi Arabian government. Yeah. And I'm sure you've seen videos of the control room of Aramco. It's all over. Google it, you see it. Where they sit technology and see every drop of crude oil that is coming out of their well, and how it's being pushed, the same thing pushed out. So the question is that why is it that our refineries are not working? Why is it that we are not able to have this thing? And I believe, and my personal opinion is that there are some people within the oil sector that just don't want this thing to work. And until we're able to tackle that, the Governor Seriake Dristin of Bayelsa State, a few days ago, came out and he was the former governor of Bayelsa State, an oil producer, and he made a categorical statement that some people, some so-called big people, quote and unquote, in Abuja and Lagos are behind the oil theft in Niger Delta. Have you interrogated that?
Okay.
So those are the issues as it were. We cannot continue to import petroleum products. We will always run into problems. Let us fix our refineries, and most of these issues of logistics and the rest will be sorted.
But we can now make some money by going on a commercial break.
Let us go.
All right, we'll go on a commercial break. We should be back very shortly. Please stay with us.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
All right, we're back. We must sound our man BKO out again. Jide, if you are there, we want you to weigh in on this matter.
Yeah, I'm really distressed that a country that is among the 7 biggest crude oil producers in the world is unable to refine petroleum products. Some countries of the world actually have enough refineries, and they set aside some of those refineries simply for refining product for export. The remaining ones will be for refining product for domestic consumption. That is what Venezuela does. That is what Saudi Arabia does. We were unable to add to our refineries, and we left these refineries to rot for more than 20 years. Because it's convenient to simply bring in product from other countries. Some countries that do not even have deposits of the black gold, they have refineries. We actually go there to bring in petrol, PMS. So it's a terrible thing that despite having crude oil in abundance, we are importing petrol and we are making our people suffer. This is already a very difficult time for Nigerians. We are making them to buy petrol at 1,500 naira per liter. It's crazy. This sort of things shouldn't be happening. People are suffering. The suffering is enough. It's like putting the heads of our people in guillotines. It's terrible. And some people are feeding fat out of this. In our country, when this sort of thing happens, you see people rushing to take advantage of the situation. They don't even want this pain to end. So we need to make examples of people who are hoarding, no matter how big they are. Economic saboteurs, people diverting petrol meant for some communities, diverting them across the border. We need to punish such people. If we don't punish people, they will not stop their abhorrent behavior.
Yeah, sorry, Jide. So are you on the same page with the House of Reps committee that's ordering a clampdown?
Yes, because we are not saying that you see, there is scarcity caused by the inefficiency of NNPCL. But that scarcity, the pain has been worsened by the behavior of some people who have chosen to hoard, who have chosen to smuggle, who have chosen to divert product. Because what happens is petrol that leaves the depot meant for a particular community, people refuse, they just sell at in another community where they know that they will earn more money and they won't have to spend so much diesel. For example, some product meant to go all the way to the north, they sell some of them in the south once they are offered money. A lot of these tanker drivers do this. So diversion is economic sabotage. And people should be made to pay for that. Smuggling and hoarding, these are all behaviors that we need to punish in our country.
Economic crimes, yeah.
Yes, these are economic crimes that we need to punish. When we punish, and people can see that we punish, the people involved in such acts, they will stop. Why are people not freely spraying money now? They've seen that we try to make example of Bobrisky and Kubana Chipri. These are very popular people. So once you make examples of big people, then the rest of them will sit back and say, no, I don't want to be caught. I don't want to be embarrassed. That is the thing. I support the House of Reps. I appreciate their intervention in this mess, but we need to punish bad behavior.
Okay. Many thanks. Thank you.
Yes, yes, I very much agree with what BKO said. Do you remember the time that some fuel importers, so-called fuel importers, were, taken to court? They were not importing anything, and then they're taken to court, and they have been made example of. In this particular country, there must be punishment for bad behavior. We must see that people are actually being punished. We talk about people hoarding fuel. We talk about sabotage. There's too much of sabotage in the system, even right from the top. Like CK said, everything he said, what he said is very valid. So from the top, even to...
That I consider this. When the 1967 Seven-Day War, if you remember, started in the Middle East, oil-producing countries made money, including Nigeria. But now there's Wahala, there are skirmishes in the Middle East. We expect we will make money. We are not going to.
That is something that actually bothers us. We should have taken advantage of that. But like we said, Nigeria produces much, what's it called now? Crude, but we cannot refine. You heard BK will say that some countries refine for the purpose of what? Export, and then refine for what? Domestic consumption. This is where we should be. I've been telling these stories. Now.
All right. Paul, we'll go to our next story, but let me tease you here. I had thought that the Petroleum Industry Act was going to be a silver bullet, but here we are.
Exactly, the PIA. The PIA was supposed to be the silver bullet, but at the end of, despite knowing, what we went through to get that, over close to
over
20 years.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, we thought that was going to be a Dorado for us. But it doesn't seem to be working.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to be working at all. So it's quite unfortunate. Then, apart from, finally, do you also know that we cannot meet our OPEC quota in exporting our crude? We can't.
Okay. Let's go to our next story then. Now, the question of a new national minimum wage for Nigerian workers remains a vexed and contentious one, with both organized labor and the federal government digging in. Labor has denied rejecting a consolidated salary adjustment, but its insistence on a 615,000 naira national minimum wage remains a jigsaw puzzle.
Yes, it is.
Would both parties meet somewhere in the middle?
They should be able to meet.
The coming days should tell us.
They should. The NLC have given, Labour, let me not say NLC, Labour have given the government to the end of May for it to be resolved. And for me, yes, there's the need for us to have salary increments. for me also, 615,000 is not realistic. If the government agreed today that 615,000 is going to be the minimum wage,
Yeah.
will the NNPC president be able to pay 615,000 to the lowest person in his office?
The gate man.
That's the gate man. At least that is it. Will he be able to pay 615,000?
If that's the law, why not?
No, he won't be able to do it now. Let us be realistic. We have seen instances where we have 35,000 naira as minimum wage, and up close to 20 states till now cannot pay.
Cannot.
Not because of.
How do you react, for instance, how do you react to Edo governor raising it to 70,000, barely 3 months to his exceeding office?
No, with all sense of responsibility. People have been saying that is political. I don't read politics into that. Because this same man 2 years ago, was able to raise the minimum wage to 40,000 naira. In his state. He was already into his second term. So it's not because of politics. That's my personal opinion. But what I'm saying in essence is that we still have so many states that cannot be able to pay 35,000. Now you ask yourself, but not because they cannot pay.
Even the 18,000.
Even the 18,000. But it is not because they cannot pay. It's because of the selfishness of our leaders. Citizens, you ask me why. Now, in the past 6-7 months, there have been improvement. In fact, most of them are receiving almost 3 times what they were receiving before. So how come they cannot be able to pay? So that means that something is fundamentally wrong with our leaders, especially our governors. Every time we put our head, federal government, the president, federal government. What of those are these people have been receiving? How come they cannot pay? If you ask me personally, my personal opinion, citizen, I would say that 100,000 naira for me should be the benchmark for us to start with. My personal opinion.
And this is hoping that traders will cooperate.
Well, if let them, but you know the problem with that. Once we increase that, every other thing also goes up. Even the landlord that built his house in 1940 will definitely increase this. That is how we roll.
Okay, I imagine our man up north, BKO, will want to weigh in here. BKO, are you there? So
yes,
yeah,
I'm at your service.
Okay, the national minimum wage issue is here.
Yes, it is. First and foremost, I want to address what the denial of the NLC that it did not reject the consolidated. Yeah. It must have implied that the government was trying to con it by giving it a group gift, because all the major newspapers reported that the NLC was not interested in that it was the minimum wage that they were interested in. And for me, anything that adds to the salary of workers must be appreciated. Whether it is 2 naira or 3 naira, it will solve part of the problem. So it makes no sense for anyone to say, no, we do not approve of this, we do not support this. Don't also forget that they also increased pensions. So it was a good move that the government made, and it was not meant to brush the minimum wage issue aside. So I'm happy that at last NLC has responded to the bad press, that suggested that they didn't want. Yes, it was meant for federal government workers alone. But if you give the impression that you are not happy, then you are telling those federal government workers that you do not appreciate them, that anything that brings joy to them alone is not your business. I'm happy that they've come out to say, oh, we do not reject it. But if you said something negative about it, journalists will pick it up and make the point that, oh, you didn't want it. I guess that was what happened. But the NLC president has said, no, we do not reject. I appreciate him for that. I appreciate what he has said. Coming to minimum wage is an emotive issue, citizen. It's a real emotive issue. And it's not easy. It's not going to be easy to arrive at a minimum wage. Let's not fool ourselves. It took President Buhari months and months. In fact, he breached the constitution by the delay. He was only able to do it after years of the expiration of the deadline. So this one will even be more problematic because things are very bad for our people. And if they don't pay what they believe is good enough, NLC will be up in arms with government. So a minimum wage between 100,000 to 150,000 could be what, in my view, the government should pay. NLC asking for 615,000. Of course, in a negotiation, you start from the top. It doesn't mean that that is exactly what we get. No government can pay as much as 615,000. And the president of TUC saying that government can pay and all that. Yeah, it means that they are not facing reality. It is not easy. Nigeria is not that solvent. A country spending more than 97% of its earnings, its receipts on servicing debt. How do you expect them to be able to deal with some of these issues? So, NS is saying by the end of May, they must come up with a minimum wage or there will be trouble. I can sense that, yes, there will be a lot of rancor, but NLC should also be realistic and come up and agree to a minimum wage that is in line with the pulse of the federal and state governments. Up till now, some states have not even paid the minimum wage. The minimum wage of 18,000, some states did not pay. Then we came to 30,000.
30,000, yeah.
Many states have not paid. I'm saying that the minimum wage before 30,000, 18,000, some states have not paid. The other day, the NLC was begging Governor Oti that he should please pay the minimum wage. So there are so many states that have not paid this 30,000. Some have not even paid the 10,000. I know some states in the Northwest who have not even paid the 10,000.
Wow.
And then you are talking of 615. That's ridiculous. Nobody will pay that kind of money.
Okay. But you do believe that both the federal government and labor, organized labor, should meet somewhere in the middle?
Yes, it's a tripartite agreement. You see, it's not the federal government alone. Federal government is negotiating on behalf of the Nigerian Federation, which includes the states.
Okay.
Of course, the other group is the private sector. Can the private sector agree to pay 615,000 a month when a lot of them are folding up? Do you know how many Nigerian companies folded up in the last 1 year?
Wow.
Where are they going to find the money?
Okay.
In a very inclement business environment. So that is the point. This argument, I was surprised that the TUC that initially asked for just about 400,000, suddenly they said we have aligned with the NLC, now it is 615. I mean, gentlemen, be more serious now. In the current street language, they will say, they play. They play.
They whine.
All right, Jide, they say we must leave it there for now, but thank you for your contribution. Many thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, our next story. We'll go to our last story for today. You know, familial ties are restored and aspirations achieved when unity is a priority. A former deputy national chairman and board member of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Chief Bode George, has sued for peace amongst party members to strengthen unity in Lagos State ahead of the 2027 general election. Well, George, if you recall, a former military administrator of Old Ondo State, laments that the PDP is where it is today because of a self-inflicted crisis and that now is the time for reconciliation. Paul, transactional politics is becoming old-fashioned in our environment.
Well, but it's still very much, it's still very much with us.
Okay.
Politics and transaction, they are, as they say, 5 and 6.
Okay.
But
They are cousins.
Yeah, of course. They are even identical twins. We should all be very concerned that there is no formidable opposition currently in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And it is not good for the polity. It is not good for the polity. We all remember how APC, when PDP was in power, how APC put up a spirited opposition. I still remember, all of us remember Lai Mohammed. You understand? You know, today you will read that according to a press release issued in Ilorin, the next time you will read, they released in Lagos. I mean, APC really
kept the PDP on its toes.
Exactly. Then after APC came on, the opposition went to sleep. Unfortunately, because of personal interest that could not be sacrificed for the common good, you had people like Peter Obi, leave PDP, joined Labour, and then it even further emasculated the opposition. Currently, neither the Labour Party nor the PDP has got its act right. So what we just have are random tweets from Atiku and Peter Obi. There is no organized opposition. There's no serious opposition. And the funny thing is that they will now wake up probably 1 or 2 years to the election, thinking, no, let's be very realistic here, thinking that they can, upturn the fortunes of the ruling party. And when things don't go their way, many of them begin to do what? Begin to say a lot of things that cannot be substantiated. I think that the PDP needs to get its act right.
Yeah, that's what Chief Bode George is saying.
Exactly. So Chief Bode George is in order. If PDP is very serious about, mounting a good opposition, giving the profiling alternative to what APC has to offer, they need to get its act right. And that's the truth.
Yeah, CKN and Chief Bode George is saying we brought this mess upon ourselves and only we ourselves can get out of the mess.
Elders to behave like elders. That's very key. So elders should behave like elders. The question you ask yourself, the elders within PDP, including Chief Bode George, has he acted like an elder? I don't think he did. We saw the role that Chief Bode George played during the last general election, where he was vehemently opposed to the presidential candidate of his party. Once your party has agreed that this is our candidate, you're going to rally around him, irrespective of your personal opinion or whatever you feel. Yes, I knew that he was one of those that were agitating for a southern president, which was why he aligned himself with Wike. He was practically with Wike everywhere he was going. And he was within the Wike group.
But you don't blame him. You remember the Delta meeting?
Yes.
Where the governors signed a communique.
Yeah, I'm saying that once it has gotten to the point where a candidate comes up, it is within you to rally. If you understand what I'm trying to say. That, taking it a bit further, in Lagos State, Chief Bode George is on record that Chief Bode George did not support the candidate of the PDP, Jandon. He did not. He campaigned against him. So what I'm saying is that, so the elders, because most often that's not, in my place, in Obo, we say that most often than not, the little chick just normally looks at the mother, the way she chews. And that
look at the mouth.
Look at the mouth. In Obo, they say we look at the leonia. We look at the mouth. That is what we are saying. So if they have not agreed within themselves that this is time for them to call a rallying point for themselves, then they have to do that.
And quickly, let's go up north and sound BKO out. BKO, are you there? How do you weigh in on this now?
PDP has a history of snatching defeats from the jaws of victory. Its last election, this last election, Labour Party will have made no serious impact without the crisis in the PDP. The crisis in the PDP, their inability to work together, was what prompted Kwankwaso to leave the PDP for NNPP. Over a mere zonal party position. They wanted to cheat him, he left in anger. If we had the votes of Peter Obi to that of Kwankwaso, and then sum it up with what Atiku got, the opposition will have scored 14 million votes, which will have been a resounding victory. There's no way Asiwaju Bola Tinubu could have caught up with them. So when they make so much noise, rigging took place and all this, I just look at them as delusional people. It is your disunity, your inability to work together that made Tinubu to win the election. Because if you had come together, you would have secured 14 million votes. Tinubu secured 8 million votes.
Yeah.
Almost, Kwankwaso will have given you almost 2 million votes. If you add the votes that Kwankwaso will have given you, so even a fraction of what Obi will have given you, Atiku will have defeated Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That is the truth.
All right.
So is this, and look at all of those governors that rebelled. If they had found a way to resolve the dispute, PDP appears not to have the capacity to resolve dispute at all. Look at what is going on in Imo State now. People are leaving the party because an individual who contested the election, who should have resigned, is holding on to his position as secretary of the party against convention. And people are leaving the party for him, and they're not doing anything about it. Ihedioha has left. He's going to live with some other people. You'll probably end up in the Labour Party. So,
all right,
Bode just knows what he's saying.
Yeah.
Bode just knows what he's saying when he's saying, let us come together. Years of not coming together is what has put PDP where it is. Remember those 5 governors that worked out on Jonathan?
Yeah.
If those 5 governors had remained, there's no way the APC will have won the 2015 election, because the APC won only by 2%, 4 percentage points.
All right, Biko, we cannot thank you enough. We thank you for your contributions.
I thank you too. Happy weekend.
Yeah, send the bills to us.
I will.
Okay then, gentlemen, we must go, but not before thanking Chris Kanyede Wando for your time.
Thank you very much.
And Paul Dada.
It's always my pleasure.
All right. That will just about do it for the program today. If you missed any part of it, not to worry. Join us later on at 11 o'clock tonight for a repeat broadcast. But on Sunday, we expand the field for you from 1:30 to 3:30 for the show. And we're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. And so on behalf of the Backroom Boys, I am Citizen Jones Hussein saying bye-bye for now. Take care.
Muslim Lawyers Association of Nigeria, Bulan, wishes to notify the general public of its 2024 conference themed National Development to New Dynamics and Nuances. Date 2nd to 5th May 2024. Venue, University of Ibadan. High points of the conference are mentorship session by Professor Yusuf O. Ali SAN, family session to be facilitated by Hajia Mariam Lemu, and keynote address by Professor Sian Oyeweso. Dinner and talk by the chairman, Justice Idris Baba, JSC. Guest speaker, Abdul Muhammad SAN, as well as his discussion on religion titled Faith Merchandise and the Worsening Poverty Level in Nigeria. A consideration is